Okay, my first two pieces aren't going to be relevant to our international group, and maybe not to all of the people here, but they came right out of me. And the third one hopefully will be Ted. September 28th, 1941, 82 years ago, the last day of the baseball season. Ted Williams went six straight in a doubleheader to finish at 406, the last player to hit 482 years ago. 16 years later, he hit 388 to win his fifth batting championship, beating the runner-up Mickey Mantle by 23 points, and won his sixth and last championship the year after. He won two Triple Crowns, that's batting average, home runs, and runs batted in 1942 and 1947, and in his career had the highest batting average and most home runs and RBIs of any player who played in those years. He had a Triple Crown career. What was the most remarkable was the fact that he lost parts of 5 years to military service in World War II in Korea, landing a burning jet in Korea, getting pneumonia in the process. Another American hero, Colonel and astronaut John Glenn, called baseball hero the best wingman I ever had. Williams is also the only man in both the Baseball Hall of Fame and the Fly Fishing Hall of Fame. It is fashionable today to call people GOATs, the greatest of all time. I never saw Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, or Rogers Hornsby. All I can say is that Theodore Samuel Williams is the best I ever saw. The second is not a poem, but it relates to the same theme and a little differently. Teddy Ballgame and my brother. My brother Robert, but Bud or Buddy to all who knew him, was 16 years older than me and a nut Red Sox fan. Since he lived in New York City, the fan attachment might seem strange, but he spent his sixth grade year in Boston living with my grandmother, while my father transitioned from an account executive and a brokerage firm that failed to his father's firm, NYPD, that's New York Police Department. Idolizing my brother who left the family a roof when I was 2 to join a religious order, I grew up a Red Sox fan also. My father's best friend's brother-in-law was Jack Fadden, Red Sox trainer, and it was not long before an official American League Baseball showed up at my house with a transcription to Brother McMullen, Ted Williams. And the ball became my brother's most prized possession, traveling with him as he moved from one teaching assignment to another. When I was 9 years old, I became ill with a serious case of asthmatic bronchitis and was in bed for 3 weeks, missing school and miserable. My brother came to visit and sitting on the edge of my bed said, "I want you to have this," and handed me the Ted Williams ball. Knowing how much he prized the ball, I demurred, even saying, "It has your name on it." But he resisted, saying, "Okay, then you keep it for me." And I did. I grew up that even had him for a professor that out of college, 2 well-deserved A's, and threw out class once. I did not tell my mother. We both moved on. I married, and he became the principal of Palm Memorial High School, where a student named Ferdinand Lewis Altinda led Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the star of the basketball game. We moved on more. He left the religious order, married, and taught at another college while I was divorced and remarried, and our families traveled together. They both traveled with me, and Ted Williams remained our favorite player of all time, although I had moved on to become first New York Giants fan, then a Mets fan, and finally playing New York fan. He remained a staunch Red Sox fan, so staunch that when he and I and our wives were at Dave Righetti's no-hitter against the Red Sox on July 4th, 1982, and my wife Barbara asked him just before the last Red Sox hitter of the game, Wade Boggs, came to the plate, "Aren't you rooting for the no-hitter now?" He ignored her. When Boggs struck out, he wouldn't talk to her for over an hour. Then he died in 2004, and I decided to put the ball in his coffin. But when I went to get it, the sun through a skylight over it had faded the inscription to it, so I kept it. Ted passed away 2 years before my brother, and I can only hope that when Bud got to his destination, he got to meet his idol. I also hope that someday, far in the future, I will see both of them, my two idols, Robert John McMullen, the best person I ever knew, and Theodore Samuel Williams, the best hitter I ever saw. And to get back to our known poetry, when we leave, We don't control how we get here, or generally how we leave. One of my closest friends just passed away. That was sad. But even sadder was that his wife of almost 60 years, a victim of Alzheimer's, did not remember him, and will not be told of his death unless she asks. They were one of the closest couples that I knew, and I find a pardon like this to be more of a tragedy than the death itself. 20 years ago, the process was reversed. My older brother, Via, died after 10 years of Alzheimer's, not knowing who my wife or I were. Which scenario is better? Who can say? I find both of them to be barbaric. Thank you for putting up with me.